really about identity and who are you listening to? You're listening to a voice. And is it the Savior's or is it this world? That's really what it comes down to.
Welcome to the Everyday Faith Podcast, where we believe you can live out your faith every day by starting with belief, embracing your mission, committing to obedience, and pursuing community. I'm Dan.
And I'm Jess. Welcome back for part 2 of our conversation with Terese Kessler-Bailey. She's a wife, mom, dog mom, and licensed mental health counselor. She has the honor of supporting clients through both therapy and coaching, with her faith perspective informing how she shows up for them each day. It was really fun talking last time a little bit about that and talking kind of about a hard topic, but we're really glad to be doing it with you, Terese. So welcome back.
Thank you. And thanks for having me.
Yeah. And hopefully our listeners, you guys got to listen to our conversation from last week. It really was a good kind of foundation for the conversation that we're going to continue today. And so, Dan, would you say a little bit about what that conversation's going to be today?
Yeah,
and
today.
Let's get into it.
Thank you, Jess. Today we're going to be talking about suicide and other challenging topics. So if that's something you don't want to be part of, we hope you stay, but we obviously wanted to warn you. Miss Terese, I'm going to say something, and then I have a question for you afterwards.
Okay.
So the question, I'll say at first, is where do these negative thoughts, or where does it start? Where does it come from? Mm-hmm. Before we go into that, I want to share, something the Lord's teaching me is we don't fully, and we never will, understand the amazing opportunity of being our Creator's creation. And so the demonic kingdom knows that it lost, mm-hmm. right? And it was like, oh crap, he resurrected, right? Yeah. It's like this is, so what can we do because we know we're on the losing side? Well, guess what? We can harm the Creator's creation.
Right.
Right. First off, they're jealous of us. Mm-hmm. They sinned once.
Yeah.
Right? They cast out. We sin all the time. And it's like, what the heck? So how can we hurt God's creation?
This is the enemy.
Is the demonic kingdom's ambition is to hurt God's creation. We see that in multiple ways. And it doesn't happen in a week. It happens over a lifetime, or half a lifetime, or a quarter of a lifetime, right? Mm. So that's the foundation, kind of the fight that we are against. So where does that start? How does that begin?
Well, first, I'm going to partner with you in this. Like, you're right. The enemy absolutely hates us, right? And two, because for all the reasons you said, and two, like, we've been given authority to step on scorpions and snakes, right? And we've been getting authority over them. And I guess it's got to be extra like salt in the wounds, right? So for sure, if we don't have our guard up, if our parents didn't have a guard up for us, like, right, that's how the enemy enters. That's how this happens. Like I said last time, we're not born wanting to die, right? Like we're born, like our bodies want to survive. That's what we're, right? So how does this happen? Life happens to us or we choose, okay? But so if you look at like between the ages of 0 and 10, okay, so your ages of 0 and 10, literally anything that happens in life that's not, so anything happens like that's not like helpful to us, we take it in as it's my fault. Okay, that's just how our brains are wired. That's just like how it is. So anything happens, so if mom and dad are always yelling at us, they're like shaming us, or, teacher does this, or, if whatever's happening, if we're not getting what we need to be uplifted and shown Jesus and shown like, right, we're going to believe I am bad, I am wrong. Okay, so that's the start of like, where does this happen? Like down here and extra bad. So there's, the verbal abuse for sure. Sexual abuse for sure, physical abuse for all the things, and especially if they're done by a caregiver, even deeper. Okay, so that's the start of it. And then like that you have the enemy, and now the enemy knows, like he's watching, he knows, he wants to know your biggest fears, your biggest lies, because then like if you're carrying around a sign that says like, I'm an idiot or whatever, I'm an idiot, like I'm carrying around my sign that I'm an idiot. You can't read my sign. You don't know you're reading my sign, but like the devil's telling you like, she's an idiot. Like, so then you treat me like an idiot. Right. And then I'm like, see, I'm an idiot. So then like the self-fulfilled prophecy thing happens. And so it ends up being this big old mess. Okay. So it's ages 0 to 10, all my fault, I'm bad or whatever. Then teenage years, like nothing's ever your fault. Right. So he's like the opposite. And because why? Because we're so sick of feeling how we felt back here.
Interesting.
We're so sick of feeling all these things between 0 and 10. So now we're trying to like, not going to feel that at all cost. Right. So we're going to rebel against that. And nope, those people know nothing. Right. And then all of a sudden, like we're in our 20s, trying to like, so we're like adults that are like mixed, like we're just like pieced together, like pieces of like, oh yeah, okay. We read them. We're all kind of pretending like we know what we're doing. And truth is, none of us actually know what we're doing. And really, like if we can find our identity in Christ, like Romans 8 is my favorite chapter because I think, and I tell people this all the time, like go through Romans 8 and write it as I statements. There's now no condemnation, like no condemnation for you. Right? There's no condemnation for me, right? Whole Romans, if you can really rewrite that, it just offsets some of the lies, right?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
It's always a great question. My sister asked me, I don't know, a year ago, and it was like, what lies are you believing?
That's a good question. She's a wise person.
She is, and she's really short. But I just like to tell people that all the time. So, yeah, taking 15 minutes and asking the Lord, inviting in the Holy Spirit to say, what lies am I believing? And better yet, inviting someone to do that with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So powerful.
I love that. What lies you believe in? And I do that sometimes in therapy. And oftentimes, like what I'll ask is, what is His love saying to you today?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I like that.
I'm going to ask Jess that later today now.
Right. And like the lies, like sitting with people, because right, like if I say, like even if I said to you guys right now, like what lies it's like, what if you sit with Jesus, you're like, what lie is it safe for me to give up today? Okay. Because sometimes it's not that we need those lies, we're just not quite ready for that. And He understands that. He gets that, right? Yeah. So if I come in and I'm like, tell me all the lies, we're going to take them all right now. And you don't have enough skills to fill that spot, and you don't have enough like wisdom or enough like, you know what I mean? Like, what does it say? 7 demons are going to come in there. So that's why I always ask the question, Jesus, what lies safe for them to give up right now?
Wow. What a
That's
great
really good.
question.
Well,
you should do counseling or therapy or something.
I'll think about it.
we're already kind of getting into the subject of how do we get from point A to a better point B.
Yeah.
Point A being, this place of hopelessness and despair.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's kind of a first step for someone who's feeling discouraged? I mean, I don't know if this is what you would say is step number 1, but it seems like if you're feeling alone, if nobody else knows where you're at and how you're feeling, that feels like step number 1 is to get in community, right? Is what we would say, but don't stay alone in those thoughts. Don't keep those thoughts to yourself. You need to grab a hand.
Yep. And finding safe people, right? So, and safe people, the analogy I use, like when you're talking to somebody, you're like feeling out, like, is this okay to talk about? I would say, put your big toe in, like, just like throw something out there and kind of watch it, right? Don't like jump in,
Sure.
right? Because then you're going to feel so vulnerable. You're going to have like a hangover, like just, so really like being cautious. So yes, there's so much power in sharing your story with safe people, And because when you're alone, that's where the shame breeds itself.
When you're isolated.
Isolated alone is where the shame is going to come.
Mm.
So sharing the story and realizing, okay, so sitting with someone that is safe, but to realizing like this way, like I'm speaking to myself all day long. Okay, so what am I saying? Like what am I saying to me? Am I a safe person to me?
Wow.
Right. And really challenging, because if I'm not saying nice things, I am not doing what Jesus called me to do, because Jesus would not say those things about me. Like Jesus gave us a sound mind, right? That's part of our inheritance.
That's good.
Right. And it's like we are God's creation.
Uh-huh.
And how, like, what good creator doesn't love his creation?
Right.
And not for what it does, but for whose it is.
Right.
Right. Like God. So they're like, well, I've done these bad things. Well, I haven't this or whatever it is. And he's like, great. And you're my creation, my child.
Right.
Inheritance you talk about.
Made in his image.
Made in his image. Redeemed by his son.
Yeah.
We're like these little spoiled brats that only can see 6 inches in front of us.
Right.
And we're just like, what's going on? We're like, we're in the best position of any creature entity in the universe. And what lies are we believing, right?
For sure. I'm reading the Old Testament right now, so it's like so frustrating to me. I'm like, how can you not like really again? Like what? You know, like over and over again, and every day God's like knock, knock, knock. Like you raised do it too soon. It just looks different. Right.
Well, that's why we love Start With Belief, right? Because we have the joy of knowing how it ends.
Yeah.
Not perfectly, exactly, of course, but we are redeemed. They didn't have that.
No.
And we're these little spoiled brats that can see 6 inches, and they're just like, well, I don't have mana. So I was like, let's build this gold statue, right? It's like, we're so short-sighted.
Right.
So start with belief. I believe in a God who has redeemed us, right? Who has called me, who has created me, and for some reason gave his son to satisfy my sin so that we can be in relationship. That's incredible.
When it comes to what we believe, it's really easy for us to get information from basically anywhere but the Bible. If you want if you want the truth, it's only going to come from the Bible.
Right.
And so when it comes to what we believe, you need to be intentional because the enemy's planting a lot of seeds to get us to believe what he wants us to believe, not what God actually says about who you are, whose you are, what is to come with in your life.
Right. I mean, it's from the garden, and he's the same exact tricks. You'd think we would figure this out, right? Like the same exact, he like gives us like half truths, right? It's always like half truth, like spins it just a little bit. So it's like you can find like some version of what that means in the Bible. You know what I mean? It's it's like a little bit of the twisting.
Yeah.
Well, and then it's, if someone's like, well, I'm glad I'm not confused by what's going on. Yet you say, let's just say you say I'm a bad mother, right? Well, what is a mother? Like, what is a good mother? Well, I don't know. So how can you be bad at something if you don't know what it is? Like, we are so confused. And I say this, I'm speaking to myself, right? But I am so confused, and I think I'm not good at something, yet I don't even know what it is.
Well, and even if you did know what being a mother was and what it looked like and what it meant, we have to remember that God didn't expect us to be perfect. That's why he sent his son, because he knew you wouldn't be perfect, right? And I put so much pressure, personally, I put so much pressure on myself to be a perfect mother, and I'm discouraged. And honestly, sometimes I feel like running away from God when I know I have done something wrong, or, I let my kids down. It's like, but he knew that I would mess up. And guess what? He loves me just the same when I screw up. And I think about, there's 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. He literally says, hey, when you're feeling discouraged or unsure about how good I am, whether I'm good or not, he said, cast all your anxiety on me.
Well, welcome back, Terese. We just had a technical issue, and it's always fun when those happen because that's how you know it's a good conversation. So, Terese, give us your thoughts on what Jess just shared.
You know, coming back to this piece of we all, you know, I'm gonna turn it just a corner. Okay.
Yeah.
Second part of this whole thing is like the opposite of pride is insecurity. Okay. So now what happens in our society is we're all social media. We're all like our own gods. We're all our own idols, right? And if we do that, really what we're doing is we're like nailing deeper our insecurities and nailing deeper like the hidden truths of our signs. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then life happens, right? And now what are we going to do? Because we're our own gods. I can't figure this one out, right? And now we have deeper roots of whatever my sign is.
Yeah.
Like literally no hope, literally no direction, right? And that's oftentimes what I see is, and two, it's like this, the same thing could happen to two people. Like, you know, like, husband leaves the wife, whatever. Okay. So same thing could happen to two different people, and you can watch two people handle this totally different, right? And it's really because like what happened in hearing your story that you haven't dealt with yet. Because when life happens, we only know how to like match it with what we know. So if like neurons that wire together, fire together is the phrase, right? So if we don't have a healthy version of ourselves over here, we're going to go self-destruct or do what we know what to do, or do what our lies tell us that we are, and we're going to act in that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, it's what you're saying actually feels like it's this opposite, the two sides of the same coin. There we are. What you're saying feels like it's two sides of the same coin, where I feel like pride, is thinking of, going with what we think of ourselves versus what God says and who he says we are and that kind of thing. Yeah. And you said insecurity, right? Insecurity was the other. That almost feels like the flip side of the coin, where we're still believing the lies about ourselves, instead of it being, I'm holier than thou, for example. It's, I'm such a, low life, I'm good for nothing. And it's still my thoughts versus who God says I am.
Right.
And either way, it's not always helpful, right?
If we know whose we are, if we actually know whose we are, like we kind of know that we're nothing, but we're everything in him.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, right.
Versus like if we don't know who we are, it's like, well, look at I. It's just like you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, Jesus was like the opposite of pride. Or even look at Saul and David. Like Saul's like told he's gonna be king, and he's like this handsome man looking all great or whatever, and he goes and hides the day that he's supposed to be anointed. Like what? Right? And David's like this like shepherd boy, and he's like, oh, I'll be king. I'll go, and not even I'll be king. I'll go. You know what I mean? Like look at the difference of their identity.
Oh man!
And then look at the end result, right? Saul really continued. He took on the hat of, oh, you guys think I'm great, like, right? And he still was like so confused, like why, like wait, what happened? Because he was still doing his own thing, and look at David's ending. You know what I mean? It's really about identity and whose are you? Who are you listening to? You're listening to a voice, and is it the Savior's or is it this world? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
In today's world, right, that same story is I'm not enough.
Yes.
Right? People have that I'm not enough. Yeah. And it's really funny because I've had this conversation with people of like, you're not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not enough to be a professional basketball player. I'm not like, and that's the whole reason we believe in a savior, is because we are not enough. But yeah, it's the identity piece, right? Where you say I'm not enough, and I go, yes, of course, I know I'm not enough. But maybe to a younger version of myself, it would be more personal, because I don't have that true belief in whose I am.
Terese, do you do a lot of identity work with your clients?
For sure. Yeah. Like a lot of people come to me for, like the typicals, like the depression and anxiety. And I'm like, oh, well, you think so? So, because there's so much to all of us, right? I mean, all of us have some deeper stuff. So that's my favorite work, is if someone really wants to go deep there, and not everybody does. And that's actually okay. I mean, there's a lot of people that come in and that they're just at the spot of like, it's like the contemplation stage, I call it. Like, it's like, that is the longest phase of therapy, because they're trying to decide, is this worth doing this work to get what I want? Right. And so, it's still progress. It's still like, sometimes we talk about the same things over and over again, and sometimes then I get fired because they're not feeling better, and it's like, I mean, I wish I had a magic wand, but I don't. So then we have the people who come in who have sat with other therapists or people in that stage, and fired them. And they think I'm great because, wow, you got so deep. And it's just because of wherever they're at in their journey.
They were more ready to kind of face some of that hard stuff. Whether, even if it's just saying, okay, give me tools to handle anxiety, give me tools to handle depression and the discouragement that I'm feeling. Some of them, they accomplished what they wanted, but they maybe didn't go deeper into some of the identity and truths there, right?
Yeah.
So to those people that, as we talked about suicide and depression and, challenging deeper spaces, can you share, how do we find that hope? How do we know, what is the next step for us in finding hope if I feel hopeless?
It's such a journey. And I think that's hard for us Americans. And again, coming back to our society, because it's, we want the pill, we want the doctor, we want the therapist, we want. And really, like, I truly think that if you had the option of all these things over here, or sitting with God and yourself, and really nobody else, like, if it was just those, like this would be faster. But we don't do that. Kind of like the Israelites roaming in the desert, for 40 years. They could have got there in 10 days. So you guys know that it was supposed to be 10 days. It was 40 years. So how to answer, like, what steps in doing that? Honestly, I think the first step is just being okay being where you're at.
Yeah.
And just like naming, like, this is just where I'm at. And everybody feels it. Everyone feels this way at some time. And I hate saying that, because it feels like invalidating, because I want people to know, like I see you, not just everybody feels this. So I see you, but sometimes, like, the comfort in, like, you're not alone is hopefully what they're feeling.
Yeah.
And the end goal is full surrender. Okay. So, and how do you get there? That's a process. And I would say there's, as you could probably guess, I don't have like a really A to Z plan in my life. It's very spotty, and say with therapy. It's very spotty in just where they're at. And the biggest piece, I would say, if you can get people to like really like come into their bodies, like, I'm like, we're going to turn off your head right now. Okay. And we're going to really just feel in your body and help them to be okay that, okay with the discomfort, okay with like, either, different parts. Maybe not a topic for today, but there's, if you can really help them to name the feelings in their body, connect it with an emotion, like, it's okay to have this emotion. And, what could this be linked to? And, and do some of the trauma work on that. And it's awesome if they can do some forgiveness work and grace work that just speeds it up. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but it's I don't think there's an A to
Yeah.
I don't think there's a step.
I think
what I heard from you,
Mhm.
right, is because I love steps for myself, is know where you're at.
Yes.
Be brave and admit where you're at, maybe.
Yeah.
Invite Jesus to that place. Ask him for a next step and follow that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And to add to that, I don't remember if this was last week that we talked about it or this week, but the idea of finding a safe person, invite a safe person into that place with you.
For sure.
We've talked a lot about knowing the truth, knowing the truth and starting to replace some of those lies, asking God to reveal what some of those lies are and replace it with the truth. And the best source of truth is really the only source, original source is going to be the Bible. What does the Bible say about who God is and who you are?
Yeah.
And what he has for you. And then, I mean, we're talking a little bit about the plan and the fact that there isn't necessarily a 10-step plan, right? For how to get to a place of feeling hopeful again. But I think that's in part because the enemy, right? He attacks us based on our unique qualities as a person, experiences as a person, struggles. But just know that the only thing he can do is, plant these lies, right, along the way and attack you at those weak points.
Right.
But God is so much bigger. He's already won. And so know that, he's pulling the best cards he's got and he still loses. He still loses at the end of the day. But that's maybe part of why there isn't a 10-step plan, because everyone's journey is different. The enemy is attacking us differently based on who we are, who God created us to be uniquely.
Right.
Right. Well, Terese, as we wrap up part 2, although I don't want to, what would you want to leave everyone with? An encouragement or something you want to share?
Oh, if I was sitting with somebody right now that was walking in with suicidal ideation, I just would want them to know that I can see them, right? And Jesus sees them. Jesus loves them more than anybody on this earth could. If I could have them even find a way to have be in whatever room they feel like they're in, and then have them just see Jesus in that room with them and just see what the posture towards Jesus is. And sometimes that's, they can't look at Jesus because they feel like they're too bad or something. Or sometimes it's a running to Jesus, so they're just, and help them to know that even if Jesus is not outside the door and there's 10 locks between, there's still Jesus is there somewhere. Find where the where is. And then just start picking away at it. And really, it's almost when you get a scratch and you can't read. It's a feel good, or hurt good. Does that make sense? It's gonna hurt when you walk through these things, and you're gonna find that you're really not as scary as what you think you are. And Jesus is so much better than you ever thought possible.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow. Well, Jess, we have a lot to work on. So thank you so much, Terese. This was amazing. We hope to chat again.
Yeah.
I've loved that. Thanks for your guys' time.
And to our listeners, really quick, I want to acknowledge that our episodes with Terese have been a little different than what we usually, we're usually not focusing on a heavy topic like this, but it would be fun sometime to have you back, Terese, to talk a little bit more about our pillars, because you've already shared some great thoughts about how starting with belief is so important and pursuing community is so important. And so it would be fun to have you back for a little more of our regular podcast episode. So
Absolutely. I love that.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this conversation from the Everyday Faith Podcast. Our goal is to inspire everyday faith conversations. Please join us by rating and reviewing wherever you're listening, and most importantly, by sharing with a friend. For more resources like this, visit our website, askaboutmyfaith.com. God bless you as you live out your faith in your everyday rhythms of life.